DaVinci. I went to Pinterest, of course, and just made like my own board or collage of photos that I thought worked well together aesthetically. I'm gonna use this brown aura photo that I found. You can also import GIFs or GIFs, I don't know how people say it, and it's literally like 2022 and I still don't know how to pronounce that word. So this is our page and we're gonna title it Deb's Dashboard. So now that we've added some, you know, garments to our once unclothed page, you're going to want to familiarize yourselves with to the left of every single text box, there is a plus symbol which will take you to the next line below and then prompt you to some basic blocks. And as you can see, there are a plethora of options. We have text all the way to toggle heading 3. And then we also have this 6-dot sequence. I don't know if there's a word for this thing. Maybe I'll call it the dice. I'm gonna call it the dice now, okay? So once you have text and you click on the dice, you can see your actions here. So you have delete, duplicate, and then all the way down here is your color. So you can actually select whatever color you want your text to be. And then let's say I wanted to change the background color, I'd click on it again, and then I would hit the background down here. If you wanted the background and the text to be different colors, then you would first select your background color and then highlight the text, and then a bar will show up. Disclaimer though, there is a much simpler way to do this, which I will show you later on in this video, or you can go to the shortcuts chapter. So before you start writing anything new, it actually prompts you to hit the backslash button, which once again, you'll see the basic blocks, and then also includes the functions for the plus sign, so it kind of combines both of those into one. I'm just going to quickly go through a few. So with the backslash, you can add a new page. I'm just going to name this Thursday because it's Thursday and I'm extremely creative. In case you get confused on what page you're on, you can just look at the top here, it'll show you. So I'm on the Thursday, which is the new page. There are also 3 types of headings. So there's heading 1, there's heading 2, and you know, if you're feeling extra brave, there's heading 3. There is a bullet list, toggle list, number list. There's also the quote option, which I don't really use often, but if you wanted to, you can add your own quote. There's also the call out option just to make different text pop out. And then down here are your databases. So there are many different types. We have your table, you have a board, there is a gallery, list, calendar, and timeline. If you look at the captions underneath, you can see that some of them say inline and then some of them say full page. The difference between the two is that inline databases are part of a page, and then a full page database is a database that occupies like the whole page and you wouldn't be able to add any other text to it. I would say that 90% of the databases that I have in my Notion is the list. I have my shopping list, my reading list, and then my course schedule, which I also use as a list. So let's say I was doing my course schedule, I would add my inline database, and then I'd obviously add a title. For name, I'm just gonna put assessment. And then when you click on it right here, it says property type. Property type is basically like the feature for the row or how you want to use it. So if you were to look at your options, you have regular text, you have number, and then under number we have select, which I'm actually going to use for my next column over. I'm going to hit my plus sign, and then I'm going to do property type, and then I'm going to make this column a date, and then I'm going to add another column, and this one's going to be a checkbox. You can also move the columns over. They don't actually have to stay in the order in which they were added. So where I have my select property, I'm going to type out my classes. So I'm going to do French, Spanish, and then we're gonna do English. Most of the time Notion just kind of gives you random colors, but you can actually change the color if you want to. It's not necessary, but sometimes I like to change it if they're not really matching up for me. If I were to actually make a course schedule, I typically have my syllabus with me, and then I literally would just copy all the assignments onto this list right here. So let's say I had an essay and then it was due on February the 21st. I would just hit February 21st. Let's say I finished it early, I would hit the check button right here. One property that I didn't actually go over is the multi-select property. So the multi-select works very similarly to the select property. The only difference is that you can add multiple tags. So I use this in my watch list when TV shows have like different themes or different genres. If I were to use the select option, it would only let me use one tag, but with the multi-select, you can have multiple tags, so you can have multiple themes or different genres for movies. So this is my actual course schedule list. The format is the exact same. Once I'm done adding all my classes, I can go to calendar, and then I can hit sort ascending, sort descending. One of my favorite features is that you can actually change your view of the database. So let's say I have my list here, but I want to see it as a calendar. I would go to add view here. So in my school hub, right under my course schedule, I actually have a view of the calendar. I don't know if there's a way to link databases together, but the way I did it is that after I put in all my assignments and assessments for the semester, I basically just used the dice to highlight everything. I duplicated it, and then I changed the duplicated view as a calendar view so that I can kind of just alternate between a list and a calendar calendar in case I ever wanted to see like a visual of it. Like I said, I do not know if that is the most efficient way, but I couldn't find a tutorial, and if I can't find tutorials, I just figured it out for myself. At the very bottom of every table, there's a calculate button, which I think is actually pretty cool, because like mid-semester you can actually like visualize and even put a percentage to how much work you have done and how much work you have left. And then going back to the top of my course schedule, we have the sort option, no, not the sort option, the filter option, which basically allows you to filter out your table based on what's completed. And this also comes in handy with to-do lists. Let's say you made this into a to-do list instead, you can actually like sort out what you've already done so that you don't have to see it anymore. A good thing about Notion is that once you understand how one thing works, you can kind of get a better idea of how the rest of them work. I'm just gonna hit my backslash option again. We already went through the text, the pages, the headings, the toggle lists. We also just went through the database. If I were to continue down the backslash options, you can upload your own image. You can also embed websites. You can embed YouTube videos. So let's say I wanted to quickly access a YouTube video. I would basically hit embed and then upload the link. You can add images. You can add audio. I'm not going to go through this entire list, just aspects that I use and aspects that I think you guys will use. And I know what you guys are all thinking. This is a lot to scroll through. Trust me, it all becomes easier once you know how to use your keyboard. There are a lot of shortcuts to use once you're in Notion. I'm going to link a video in the description box that taught me a bunch of shortcuts that helped me save so much time when I'm using it. I am definitely not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to keyboard shortcuts or even Notion in general. That's why I keep saying, like, go on YouTube, look at different videos. You won't go wrong with learning more things. And the more you learn, the faster the process becomes. And then you can just have more fun with it. So we have our backslash, which we are pretty acquainted with. Let's say we wanted to type in red. So the way I showed it before, you would type your text and then you would hit your 6 dices, go to color and select red. But the quicker way to do it, you would hit your backslash, type your color, and then it would pop up. The backslash button works with every single command that you want to do. So like I showed you before, you can use your dice and then hit duplicate, but you can also just highlight and then just hit Control D. Control B allows you to write in bold, Control I allows you to write in italics, and then Control U allows you to underline. If you wanted to quickly add an emoji, you can use your colon and then type out like the theme of your emoji. So if I wanted like a fun emoji, I would type out fun, bowling, dancing, roller coaster, we have a coffin. You can also use your dash on your keyboard and then that will make you a bullet list. You can use your side crocodile. I don't know what this is called. I've literally been calling this symbol like the crocodile. There's definitely a name for it, but if you hit that one, the one with the crocodile opening to the left and then hit space, that will make your toggle list. Another pretty cool feature is that you can actually change the format of your text. So I can select all of it and then I would hit my 6-dot sequence and then do turn into. So let's say I wanted all this text to be a to-do list. I would hit to-do list, and you can use this with any of your options. You can turn into a bulleted list. So we have almost covered everything, except I haven't really talked about how to make it all pretty and aesthetic. So that can be achieved through adding interactive widgets. Kind of, you know, adds that extra spice. I noticed there are a lot of different widget websites. At the bottom they have a bunch of options. They have clock, countdown, counter, life progress bar. They have a bunch of stuff. So so next is the organization and the aesthetics. So sometimes you don't even need to necessarily make your Notion aesthetic. You can actually just browse for templates online and then duplicate it into your Notion. I've actually linked some of my favorite templates in the description box below, so if you want to click through them, you can go on YouTube or you can go on Reddit or Pinterest or TikTok and then literally just type in aesthetic Notion template or even just Notion template. There will be so many different ones that pop up. It's honestly pretty useful. I can't even lie. When I first started using Notion, I don't know what to do. I literally just duplicated people's templates and see how they did it, and I used it for a while, and then I kind of like incorporated that into my own now. My only tip for when it comes to making it aesthetic and organized is to utilize your columns and rows. So let's say I was trying to duplicate something like this. I'm just gonna like freehand it and show you and just like walk through it with you, if that helps. Okay, so we have our little demo in the left corner right here. You know, we're gonna dupe that. Challenge accepted. So the first thing I'm gonna do is add a new page, and then I'm gonna add a cover, and then obviously I went to my computer where I have my little Notion